for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. It's time for Montana's only daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I like football!
Now here's your host, Coulter Nuanez.
Yo, what's up, Montana? Welcome in. 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. I'm Coulter Nuanez, coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned, the only Bears that should be in your garbage. Plenty to get to today. You guys have been texting in questions, comments, subject matters, etc. for the last, 7 to 10 days. Because we asked it to. So thanks so much for participating. If you'd like to be a part of the show, as always, you can text 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. Text us, Hayden, Jeff, anybody in the back. They can just forward it along to me. They put a whole bunch of your questions from this week into the outline here today. So we'll start with that. Hayden put 7 in here. We're probably not going to get to all of those because we have to get to Brooks Nuanez on an open-ended debate about, well, not even a debate, a conversation about who is the greatest athlete on planet Earth right now, plus what we think of the NBA playoffs and a couple thoughts on hockey as well. We'll also then wrap back around to some more questions in segment number 3. Then, Carol, that she doesn't know sports. You already know it's about Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel. The story won't stop kicking. What do we think it's going to actually do, though, to affect next fall? We have varying opinions on this, so we will get to all of those as well. And our first senior spotlight for the spring/summer. I always try to get to at least one, if not 2 or 3, of the best high school seniors, boys and girls, from around the state of Montana. All sports, these are graduating high school seniors, right? So when we get them in May, they're not quite graduated yet. We get them in June. They mostly just recently graduated, July, August. Sometimes it gets a little harder in August because a lot of times these kids are going to college, not just to go to college, but also to play sports. So they almost always have to, especially the football guys, the volleyball gals, they have to dive right in. But either way, we will have... I never like to make promises I can't keep, but we'll have as many senior spotlight interviews as we possibly can here on Nuanez Now. I think last spring, summer, I think we did like 32. So we'll track down some of the best individual athletes from across the state of Montana. We get it started this week with Hudson Lutke. There's no like order or prominence or anything like that. But Hudson Lutke was one of the best football and basketball players in the state for 4 years running. He was a 4-year starter for Butte High football and Butte High basketball. He finished his basketball career as the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Bulldogs. He broke a school record 4 points scored that has stood for, 57 years. That's pretty darn good. And he's actually taken a little bit less than traveled normal path. He's going to Casper Junior College in Wyoming in hopes of getting an opportunity at a 4-year school. So we'll hear from him coming up here about 5:30. So certainly a jam-packed show and a jam-packed hour number 2. And that'll be the first of many senior spotlights here on Nuanez Now. So there you go. It's what's coming up here today on this Friday. Appreciate you for hanging out. You want to stream it? You always can. 1029ESPN.com. You can also always find us on the ESPN MT app. You can always find us on Facebook, on Twitch, on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Certainly, helps us out quite a bit, and it's a great viewing experience. The guys behind the glass, they can control all the different visual elements of the show right now. The ESPN MT app is certainly a great place, and that looks really good. SWX Montana Television looks really good. The YouTube, though, looks exceptionally good, and we control 100% of that. We control a vast majority of what we got right now on all the other platforms, but the YouTube looks really awesome. So if you can subscribe to it, that would really help us out. All you got to do is just click the button. Then you'll get the alert. You can have the archive version of the show. Really helps us out, no question. We start with a piece of news today before we get to some of your questions. You're going to hear this again in the Sports Center. And I actually don't know how to form an opinion on this. Because some of it just makes me chuckle. Some of it is sort of revelatory for the way that sports are going. Some of it is just sort of human nature. And some of it has been going on for a really long time. We used to have a lot better ability to monitor things now, and I think that has an impact on a variety of elements of society, both for better and for worse. The lead news of the day is that Grady Bennett, who's one of the great coaches in all of high school football in the state of Montana, a great friend of this show, a friend of mine, a man that I love talking to and I think does a heck of a job up there at Kalispell Glacier. He will be suspended for the first 2 games of the 2026 football season. Well, the reason why is that Big Fork High School submitted a formal protest to the Montana High School Association, and then 2 weeks ago, they held an official hearing in which the MHSA Executive Board passed a motion that unanimously finds Glacier High School in violation of Article 2, Section 17.1. So what's that mean? Well, the MHSA handbook defines recruiting in high school football or high school sports in general as, quote, any school or any employee, representative, club, or entity associated with a school trying to induce a student to remain at his or her current school or transfer to another school for reasons related to athletic participation, end quote. In accordance with the penalty section, the executive board ruled that Coach Bennett will receive a 2-game suspension and a private reprimand for the school will include a $100 fine. So the reason I say that I somewhat chuckle at this is that a lot of this is not new. You know, district lines, open enrollment, non-open enrollment, recruiting, quote-unquote recruiting, whatever. There's been player movement for a really long time. And sometimes I think it's much to do about nothing. Like, if you just analyze Missoula County, for example. We sit here in Missoula at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Right now, I live out Mullen Road, right? My son, if we continue to live in that area, will go to Hellgate Middle School, Hellgate Elementary, Hellgate Middle School, and then to Big Sky. But is his path to Big Sky all that much closer or quicker than it is to Sentinel or Hellgate? Yeah, probably a little bit. But like kids in Lolo, is it actually closer to go to Big Sky than it is to Sentinel? I think it's probably a draw. Like my wife grew up farther out past Mullen Road, out by the bridges. Was it closer for her to go to Big Sky or Frenchtown? I don't know. I mean, split the difference. But the district lines are the district lines. I'm not advocating breaking rules. I guess all I'm getting at is that the Flathead Valley, Flathead County, there's a ton of different places up there. And it's very much like the Bitterroot Valley, right? Sometimes you live in a town, but sometimes you just live near a town. Like you claim that town because that's the town you live near. And again, I'm not advocating for recruiting or any sort of tampering or anything like that. But I mean, same thing in Bozeman, right? Belgrade, Manhattan. Like how many kids have come from those surrounding areas and played for Bozeman High or Bozeman Gallatin? Like the Jackrabbit Lane between where Gallatin High School is and Belgrade High School. Okay, so if the district line says you're closer to Gallatin, or it says you're in the Gallatin district but you're closer to Belgrade, or vice versa. There's just a lot of crazy nuance to it, and I just don't really know where that falls. And I'm not trying to justify for Grady Bennett because he's a great guest on the show or anything like that. I'm also not trying to justify high school recruiting in the state of Montana. I also just think that this is sort of like how it's gone for a really long time. Like, I hate to talk about just my experience, but what else could I live besides my experience? I know for a fact when I was in high school, Great Falls CMR was the premier football program in the state of Montana. They had been for 2 decades. Not all the kids from CMR lived in Great Falls. You got kids from Dutton, Power, Brady, Conrad, Shelby, like all over that Golden Triangle, Cascade. They're going to CMR. If you're a good player, you're in that area, you're going to go play for Jack Johnson. Why wouldn't you? That's why CMR won 13 state championships under Jack Johnson. That's why he's the greatest coach. It's not the only reason why he's the greatest coach in Montana high school football history, but it's one of them, no question. Helena had this, where the East Helena kids were going to Helena High. The Montana City kids were coming to Helena High or Helena Capital, either one. And now there's distinct high schools there, so it's a little bit more tenuous. You go on down the line. In Missoula, like, I'm not trying to call anybody out, but my senior year of high school, Hellgate High School won the AA state championship in basketball. One of their 3 best players, Trevor Morris, he transferred from Sentinel to Hellgate. He wasn't in Hellgate's district. He's in Sentinel's district. He then went on to go play at the University of Idaho. He's a D1 guy. I mean, there's just many examples of this. So all I'm getting at is, again, I'm not trying to just defend my friend, but Grady Bennett is a friend of this show, and he's an awesome coach. I just think there's a lot of gray area here. And the fact that he's suspended for the first 2 games of the 2026 season, it's impactful for Glacier. I'm not trying to say he shouldn't be suspended. This is voted on by the MHSA board. This is a clear violation of rules. There was a clear reporting, a clear sort of trial with 8 voting members. And again, I'm not trying to justify any of this stuff. But if you think that this is new, or you think that this is like evil, I just don't know what to tell you. The other thing that made me chuckle is just thinking about these meetings when there was the reporting going on and the parents and everybody screaming and yelling and pitching a fit and all this sort of stuff. I don't know. It's an interesting spot to be in. Nuanez Now, 129 ESPN Radio. Okay, we'll get to one of your questions right now. Then we'll hear from Brooks Nuanez. Then we'll get to probably another question before hour number 1's over. Good question here. What is Tommy Mellott up to these days? He was the 2024 Walter Payton Award winner. He was a 3.25-year starter, basically, for Montana State football. Took over the starting quarterback job during the playoffs of his freshman year, and then was the guy all the way through. Led Montana State to the national championship game on the front end and the back end. Did not win a national championship, but had one of the most prolific careers in the history of Bobcat football. That was after one of the most prolific careers in the history of high school football in the state of Montana. And when you're from Butte, America, you get a little bit more juice to you because Butte tells its story better than anybody, and they love its local athletes so much. Well, the question is, what is Tommy Mellott up to these days? He was drafted in the 6th round by the Las Vegas Raiders. He was then waived before the season began. He then landed on the practice squad of the New Orleans Saints. Then he ended up having to have double hip surgery, and that put him on basically IR, but then out. He was not on a roster. Last January, so, 5 months ago, when the Bobcats were there in Nashville for the national championship game. If you've been following along, he did a little, basically cameo, a little freelancing for SWX Montana. He was an analyst, and he was on TV, on camera, so that was kind of fun to watch. And I talked to him while he was there. I don't want to reveal too much of the private stuff, but he did have some surgery, and what he had indicated was that if he could get cleared, he was probably going to give it one more shot. I don't know the details of all of it. I don't know if the Saints would take him back if he did clear a physical or not. But there's also the option still where the Calgary Stampeders own his rights for the CFL. So there's a thought that maybe he could go north of the border if and when he gets healthy. But then there's also the thought where he was, an academic All-American multiple years in a row, and he was the Campbell Trophy Award winner, and, he's one of the great student athletes in all of college sports. And he got a financial engineering degree from Montana State. So maybe he takes that and just makes himself a life. I can't speculate on what the future holds, but I know that when you ask what's Tommy Mellott up to these days, he's not currently on an active football roster, and he's trying to make his way back to full health. In terms of why, I'm unsure. If the why is that he wants to play football still, all the power to him. We're rooting him on. If the why is just he wants to carry on with his life, again, all the power to him, rooting him on. We get to more of your questions here before hour number 1 is up. Right now, take a break, come back. Brooks Nuanez. A open-ended conversation about who is the greatest athlete in the world right now. That's next. Keep it right here. 129 ESPN Radio.
DeMorris Buick GMC is ready to help you safely travel Montana's scenic roads in comfort and style. Stop by DeMorris today and test drive some outstanding SUVs. Right now, take advantage of closeout pricing on the uniquely designed and well-equipped 2024 Buick Encore GX with models starting at $28,895. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to demorris.com to preview our inventory of 2024 Buick Encores and then pay a visit to DeMorris Buick GMC on West Broadway in Missoula, your family-owned hometown dealership for over 60 years.
It's easy to see why Montana is the treasure state. At the University of Montana, we look inside. We see an old truth with fresh eyes, that Montana's greatest treasure is its people. So whatever tomorrow brings, we meet it the only way we know how. With a mind for making. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
The Glacier Wolfpack will begin the defense of their Class AA state football championship without head coach Grady Bennett after an MHSA investigation results in the suspension of the longtime head coach. I'm Jeff Safford. Last season, Kalispell Glacier rolled to an undefeated season and the second state title in school history under Bennett's leadership. But the Wolfpack will not have Bennett on the sideline for the first 2 games of 2026. Following a formal protest from Big Fork High School, an MHSA executive board held a hearing in April. The board passed a motion to fine Glacier High in violation of a rule banning recruiting. As a result, Bennett will be suspended for 2 games. The Wolfpack are scheduled to open the season on August 28th at home against Billings West in a rematch of the 2025 Class AA state championship. Glacier won 16-3 to cap a 12-0 season, giving the program its first state championship since 2014. Bennett will miss that and his September 4th game at Bozeman as he begins his 20th season leading the Wolfpack. Glacier has made the playoffs 16 of the last 19 seasons and has played for the state title 6 times over the last 13 years. Since starting the program from scratch, Bennett has led Glacier to a 142-52 record.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club. This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
Welcome back, 129 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Thanks to our friends at Cash One Pawn. Cash One Pawn, the premier pawn shop in western Montana. Firearms, power tools, jewelry, all sorts of other stuff. Camping gear, fly fishing equipment. They got it for you at Cash One Pawn. Shop online, cash1pawn.com. Also need quick cash? Go visit Cash One Pawn out on Roller Coaster Road, right past the Missoula Airport, right short of the Y. Cash One Pawn, Missoula's premier pawn shop, cash1pawn.com. Let's roll. Brooks Nuanez joining us here on Nuanez Now, 129 ESPN Radio, and I want to start with an open-ended question. I was talking with the guys behind the glass about this a little bit yesterday as well, but I thought that this was, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. When we were growing up, for most of the collision between popular culture and sports has sort of made there be these consensus moments and figures that were like of paramount ascendance. A lot of people in Missoula Broadcasting went to the Michael Jackson movie last week, and certainly the fame that Michael Jackson reached is about unprecedented, probably, of any person that's really lived in the world as we know it. Certainly in the modern world. But I was thinking about how, like, for a good amount of time, like in the 1990s, almost everybody would have said, if you would have said, who's the greatest athlete in the world? People would have said Michael Jordan. Like in the 60s or 70s, probably Muhammad Ali or whoever was the heavyweight champion of the world, right? Late 90s, early 2000s, Tiger Woods. Mid 2000s, Usain Bolt. But it seems like over the last 20 or so years, there's been a pretty big fracturing in all of that. And I think that if we were to have a who's the greatest athlete in the world conversation now, you'd have 20 options, 15 options. But also there's not just one that just jumps to mind right away where you're like, well, that guy probably has at least an edge. So I guess I'll start there. Who's the greatest athlete in the world right now?
Wow. That's a big question. The greatest athlete in the world right now.
Who is the greatest or best or whatever?
Do you like it to be that they need to be at their peak right now or they're alive right now?
Well, like you can go through the various sports, right? Patrick Mahomes is probably considered the best player in the NFL at this exact moment, right? Or one of. And that's what I'm getting at, is that there isn't a definitive answer to that. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is about to win his second straight MVP. I think people would scream at you if you said he's the greatest athlete in the world.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't think that's true.
right? So, Connor McDavid, I think a lot of people would argue against that. Even though he's the greatest hockey player on the earth right now. I don't know if there's a consensus best baseball player. Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah.
So then is he the answer? Because he is sort of the one that is the definitive of the big pro sports?
I watched him throw 100 pitches last night, so it's up there.
He threw the sweeper to Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve fall on his face is unreal. But you know what I'm saying?
I sure do. Yeah, there's
and because there was such a stronghold of all. This is the first generation of athletes that got both male and female that got to play or compete like deep into their late 30s or even early 40s. So then they also like sucked up a lot of the air. Like if you're looking at like the individual sports, like Serena Williams was it, but then she's not it anymore, and she doesn't have an heir apparent yet. There isn't like a consensus person there. And even in golf, with somebody like Scottie Scheffler, who's just dominating, he also has a whole bunch of peers in it. So I don't know. What do you make of just this phenomenon?
Yeah, Scottie has some peers, but there's nothing that's like the golf world with Tiger Woods, right? So it's hard to say like, well, Scottie is out-peaking Tiger Woods. That's not true.
It's not true.
So if you're saying just at this current moment, and they need to be at their peak, I think the list gets a lot shorter. I think that Shohei Ohtani would definitely be towards the top of it. If you talk about athletes that are still alive and competing, but maybe not at their peak, I think you'd have to say that Lionel Messi is up there.
Sure.
With one of the greatest athletes of all time, no question. One of the greatest footballers of all time. And he's still playing at a high level, still relevant, still on the scene, making money, winning games, in a different era, a different level. But I do think that a lot of what's happening in American culture with a lot of the transition of wealth from baby boomers to this next generation is kind of happening in sports too. We're seeing a ton of the NBA guys like LeBron and KD and start to pass the torch, but the torch has not been passed yet.
Sure.
So there's kind of like this little gray area where it's not the next generation yet. I think that's like that in a lot of sports. I think Patrick Mahomes is uniquely positioned to have taken that torch from Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, those quarterbacks of that ilk into this newer generation where he was able to be standalone, kind of by himself, the guy who now carried that flame. But across the board, I think that golf is changed in a way that it's a little bit more mechanized and it's not quite as artful. So it's harder to really establish like who's Scotty's kind of fun because it's a little bit more artsy. It's a little less, stuck in a box. But right now, the greatest athlete of all in the world right now, I mean, Simone Biles is retired, right?
Simone Biles is retired. So Simone Biles, she's also had like so many of the different ups and downs
during
her competitive career. I mean, she never dominated. She was so dominant at her peak, but also like checked out and like left the Olympics. And there's a lot of different variations to her performances.
Yeah, I mean, in the hockey world, which I've been watching a lot of hockey, been enjoying that. Cale Makar for the Avalanche is arguably the best player in the league. He's not the best offensive player. He's a defensive guy, but can score it. And this is all over the place. But you'd never say that. You'd probably never say he's the greatest athlete in the world.
Sure.
I think 5 years ago that you could really argue that it was Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Sure.
That his size mixed with his skill, mixed with the prestige and the level he was playing at. When they were competing for championships, he won his championship. I thought at that moment you could say it was him. But like right now, he hasn't played. He's been hurt. It's a complicated one because there has been eras throughout almost all of time where you were watching somebody play out live and living color, being an all-time great as well as the greatest in the world. That's where I think that you fall back on Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
There's been nothing like it as far as the Babe Ruth reminiscence.
Sure.
And, Babe Ruth has got to be up there in the top 10 no matter what you say, just for the myth alone, let alone the production.
Yeah.
But I think that Shohei has to be at least in the final three, maybe the final two for the greatest of all time right now.
Brooks Nuanez here on Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio. I think there's a lot of things that influence this too. I think, first of all, our sports, if you look at the metrics, have never been so popular, but it's never been so fractured. Like, if you're a baseball guy, you're a baseball guy. If you're a basketball guy, you know what I'm saying? Like every night at 7 o'clock, all the guys that are here are sitting down and watching sports. But are we watching the same? You've been rotating back and forth between basketball and hockey.
I have.
I think you're rare. Like, I watch basketball, and Jeff and Hayden watch hockey. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of what it is. And I think that, first of all, the I'm not going to say demise, but the erosion of the prominence of boxing is certainly one of the things that impacts this, because the heavyweight champion of the world would always be in this, at least in this conversation, or not even just the heavyweight champion. Some of the best boxers in the world at any weight class would always be in this. But like, who's the best boxers in the world right now? We can't hardly even name them, because the sport doesn't have the spotlight that it once had.
Definitely.
It used to be, even if you never watched Babe Ruth, of course you didn't watch Babe Ruth. He was playing when there was no TV, so almost nobody watched him compared to what would be today. But on the other hand, radio guys and newspaper people were talking about this guy coast to coast, so the myth grows, the legend grows, all that sort of stuff. I also think that it's not his fraction of attention or sort of the fluctuation of various sports. I also think that probably several of the top candidates here are guys that play in the European Premier League.
Yeah, no doubt.
That are soccer players, and as Americans, you either love soccer or you just have a blind spot for it, because it's not on. It's on at 4:00 in the morning.
Oh, it's on.
You can watch it.
Yeah, Mbappe's up there for sure.
Like Mbappe, Messi, Neymar, those guys all have to. I mean, I know Messi and Neymar probably past their best days at this exact moment, but like Ronaldo, like all those guys have to be somewhere in the conversation. Probably.
No doubt, but all those guys are past their peak.
Right.
And I mean, do you want to know like my honest answer, Coulter? Which a lot of people won't like this. I mean, it's Shohei. Let's say Shohei's it because he's at his peak right now.
Sure.
The greatest athlete that's currently going in the world right now is LeBron James.
See, I was gonna actually circle back and say that there's two candidates in the basketball world: LeBron James, for what he's doing right now at the age that he is, and Victor Wembanyama, because there's never been a person that's like him.
Definitely, but like Wemby scored 8 points in game one.
He also blocked 12 shots.
He did. It's unbelievable. He's an absolute alien.
He's like making Rudy Gobert cry. Like that's
but like what is an athlete besides making your team better, being in top physical form, and then performing? LeBron James is the best at that. It's not even close.
For sure.
It's not even close. And he's got to be one of the greatest of all time, period. Longevity starts to help these cases out, right?
Sure.
If LeBron retired 5 years ago, it's a different thing. What he's doing now at age 41 it's just remarkable. And again, it's the performance piece mixed with the longevity, mixed with the ability to stay somewhat of the same athlete. He looks the same. He feels the same. A little less hair, sure, whatever. When I watch LeBron, it feels like it did even just 6, 7, 8 years ago, which is so hard to do. And that has to be a part of greatness, right? We talk about that with musicians all the time. That longevity piece starts to, you might have 5 great albums, but if you have 15 or 20 and you're still touring like the Stones or something, you start to get to a whole nother level. And I think that's where LeBron's kind of gotten to that air.
Nuanez Now tonight, ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Brooks Nuanez joining us here on this Friday. Appreciate him for contributing here. Who's the greatest women's athlete in the world right now?
Oh, right now, huh?
I also think that that's another part of this that impacts this conversation in terms of not having a consensus, is the fact that like there's several really good tennis players going on right now in women's tennis, but they aren't those that preceded them. So then we're hesitant to anoint them, right? Like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander we're going to come back to the Thunder here in just a minute, actually, but as of exactly right now, he's not Michael Jordan. So even though his numbers actually in certain ways are better, I know people think that's crazy to say, but it's not. It's objectively a fact. But like he doesn't have the mystique that Jordan has, so then it's hard to. We don't want to anoint him on the same level that Jordan once held. It's just like Coco Gauff, for example. She's not the Williams sisters yet. So then we have a hard time like sort of anointing her, propelling her forward. I don't know. I mean, Sydney McLaughlin.
Sydney McLaughlin would be my. She's off the top number one.
Yep, she's pretty hard to overlook for sure.
Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark both have to probably be in the conversation. I mean, they've
Sabrina Ioesca as well.
They've truly. I mean, Caitlin Clark has completely changed an entire sport.
Yes.
I mean, they went from making $70,000 a year to a minimum $285 within a year.
Yeah, right.
She changed the entire sport
contract. Yeah,
which is huge. And then I was at an AAU tournament this weekend, a 3-on-3 kind of like pickup setup thing, and there was a team of girls that had was the Caitlin Clark team. They all had different Caitlin Clark jerseys on. And I thought it was just such a moment of transcending not only talent, but cultural relevance of what Caitlin Clark's been able to do. So definitely have to be up there. I mean, and if you want to always bring golf in, because we know that sports is more about running fast and jumping high.
Sure.
It's about the mental capacity to compete and to grind and to practice and to hone in a craft. I mean, Nelly Korda is the real deal.
Yeah.
The women's golfer. She's fantastic. And if you have never watched her, if you are a golf fan at all, I would find a way to tune in because she has game. And she is an absolute monster when it comes to, every level of golf. And, she would have to be up there as well. But when it comes to all of these questions, Coulter, I'm always going to lean to the track people.
Yeah.
But when you talk about influence and cultural relevance and all those things and how did you change the sport and all that, track, there is no changing the sport. The number's a number. It is what it is. So it's LeBron and Caitlin Clark may have changed the game, but someone in the track world who doesn't make much money and does it for the true love of the thing, the true pursuit of greatness, I'm always kind of lean towards those people. When I get asked who's the greatest athlete of all time, I lean on Jesse Owens and Jim Thorpe.
Sure.
I lean on the guys that did multiple sports and also did it at such a high level and did it with, odds against them and all those things. Babe Ruth is up there for sure, but I love the story of Jesse Owens and, I love the story of someone like Jim Thorpe.
Yeah, it's good insight, certainly. And you just wonder if that sort of stuff is also going to fade, because that's the other part that colors this conversation. There was a moment in time in the late 80s and early 1990s where there was a couple guys that were playing two sports professionally, Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, and I think those guys, they didn't necessarily blaze a trail, because I think they actually just blazed the trail that people realized that you can't do. Because it's just too hard. It's just too hard to do. At some point, Deion Sanders had to retire from baseball and say, I'm just going to be the best corner in the league. And Bo Jackson, his body just fell apart. So I think that's another thing that maybe removes that from this part of the conversation.
No doubt. So who's the most famous person to ever live? You led this with Michael Jackson, but
who's the most famous person to ever live? Jesus.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, or one of the prophets. I mean, I think the Muslim people would probably say
Let's say the most famous person to ever live since 1700.
Most famous person to ever live since 1700. Man. Who do you think?
One of the popes, or maybe the
Pope,
Napoleon?
Any of the popes, probably, yeah, for sure.
Napoleon, Mother Teresa. Michael Jordan. Paul McCartney. Is Michael Jackson more famous than all of those people?
I think just the widespread nature of the fame. The fact that there's evidence that you could go to villages in Africa where there was nothing, but they would still have a boombox with Thriller.
Yeah.
They didn't even know what music was besides tribal music or indigenous music, and then Michael Jackson.
That's pretty wild.
That's pretty crazy, right? But, I mean, you could say the same thing with Michael Jordan at a certain moment in time as well. And, I don't know, I wonder how much of the international draw is, I mean, I think we don't understand how famous Shohei Ohtani is outside of America.
I think that's very true.
Kobe Bryant and LeBron James and Michael Jordan are way more famous in China than they ever were in America. That's crazy to think about. And I think that Shohei Ohtani in Japan and much of Asia is probably the most revered person, the most revered sports figure by a lot.
I think you're right.
Yeah, pretty interesting to think about. Nuanez Now tonight, ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Do you see any of these series in the NBA not being chalk? Any of the lower seeds? Do the T-Wolves have a chance?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, what about, I mean, the Lakers don't against the Thunder. I think we know that. Right?
The Lakers do not.
But what about the 70s, handicap it? 76ers, Cavs, and T-Wolves are the three underdogs in those series.
They all three have a chance. I would say the best chance is the T-Wolves, then I would say the Sixers, and then I would say the Cavs.
Yeah.
And the Sixers only because one thing goes wrong, and if Embiid gets hurt, which he was flopping all over the place, getting helped up, cramping it out, I get that he's playing right now and he's looking good, one of the most dominant players in the NBA, no question. they're one, false step away from that all falling apart. And I don't think they can do it without him. Maxey is awesome, and if Paul George is playing at that level, they definitely have a shot still. But I do think that Embiid is the catalyst there. With the Timberwolves, I mean, all these teams at this level don't hear what I'm not saying here. None of these teams are scared. The T-Wolves are the least scared.
They definitely are.
They're not scared of Wemby and Castle and Vassell. And I mean, Edwards, even if he's banged up, is not backing down from anybody.
True.
And that team, they've been to the back-to-back Western Conference Finals, so they have some experience. They know kind of what they're doing. And my favorite narrative of that whole series is the French connection between Rudy Gobert, who invented the French alien, invented the 7'4" alien guy, and now the second coming in Victor Wembanyama is coming up. And I think Gobert, with all the smack that people talk on him and all his missteps through his career, especially the last 4 or 5 years, just politically or in the media or when it comes to the COVID stuff or whatever, I do think that Gobert is a very proud Frenchman that's going to stand up to the young guy pretty well. I don't see him backing down either. So I love the T-Wolves in that spot, especially if they can get one on Friday.
Why do you think it is that people have a harder time leaning into Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Well, he's very different. A lot of people don't really consider him or think of him as a foreign player, right? But
sure,
he's definitely a foreign player.
From Toronto.
I mean, the top 4 or 5 best players in the NBA are all foreign.
Totally.
He's from Toronto. He has a little bit of a French-Canadian touch to him. He's definitely an eclectic, stylistic person when it comes to on and off the court. Mm-hmm. I think he's hard to relate to because I don't think that when you watch him, you understand his body type and or kind of the goals of his game. I don't think that when you watch him, you think he's 6'6".
Right.
I think that you think he's like 6'2" point guard. Mm-hmm. I think he's like Jalen Brunson or something, and it's not that at all. He's bigger than Michael Jordan. And I don't think that people think of him like that. He's bigger than Ant Edwards. Not maybe not weight-wise, but he's taller.
He's taller.
He's all of 6'6", 6'7", which is a completely different style of player. There's not really a lot of guys like him. And then when there are comps, someone who's big on the ball like Cade Cunningham for the Pistons, much different style. Shai has a lot of the last generation, which is the James Hardens of the world. He has some of that in his game, but then he has such a more refined mid-range game that it looks kind of out of place in the modern game. You don't see a lot of guys trying to get to 14 feet and pull up. It's just, so I think that he is a little bit misunderstood as far as when people watch him, the aesthetics don't match what their perception is, but I think that maybe it's just the wrong expectation.
Like, I'm looking at his career statistics. He's averaged.
He's already one of the greatest players of all time.
He's averaged over 30 points per game 4 years in a row. Guess how many times Kobe Bryant did that? 3 times in his whole career. Never 4 years in a row. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over the last 4 years has shot 51%, 53.5%, 52%, 55.6% from the floor. His average field goal shooting split this year was 11 of 19. That's his average game. Is 11 of 19 from the floor. And he's, by the way, one of the greatest free throw shooters in the history of basketball. He shot 90% from the free throw line 4 years in a row. It's just interesting because I think if you were to say he's one of the greatest combo guards that the game has ever seen, people would be like, well, what about Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade and Jerry West and blah, blah, blah. His numbers are better.
And he can play on the ball more.
Yeah. And he's leading a team that's put together back-to-back of 2 of the greatest seasons we've ever seen. They're going to roll to the championship, I think. I think there's nobody that's going to be able to stand in their way whatsoever. Maybe the Spurs.
But then who's getting in their way next year?
Right, exactly.
I think they could easily win 4 of the next 6.
So then when do we turn the corner with Oklahoma City? Like, why is there such an aversion to OKC?
Well, it was a team that was stolen in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I said that on Tuesday's show.
And then it's a team of a bunch of guys that we identify with and kind of maybe fell in love with in Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, that was shooting and flossy and up and down. And it's not that. It's a defensive team. So then if you don't like, or they're playing your team or you're rooting against them, they're going to beat you up. It's never fun to lose and get your butt kicked.
Sure.
And it's just a different, they did it in a very interesting way to where they're peaking right now. And who knows if they can hold on to it with all the apron stuff. But I think that it's mostly an aesthetics thing. I think that it's It does not fit in the modern NBA. Yeah, of course they get above the rim. Of course they shoot some threes, but they are not playing like most other teams, and I think that it just comes off as a little bit different.
I think people would say that they get to play different too, which I don't know how much I buy into that. Like, what do you think of that narrative? Like, the Thunder get away with more?
You create your own luck, you know?
Other teams are starting to try to play like them. Like, Houston tried to do it this year. They tried to play like the Thunder did, and it didn't work that well.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I'm coaching basketball, my kids complain about, getting fouled or getting, pushed around, I say, you got to push back, right? And
sure.
It's, not in a facetious way, just in a way of you got to compete. And Oklahoma City's tone is really hard to match.
Yeah, it is. And the way that they can come at you in waves, the depth that they have, the guards that they come at you with, et cetera, et cetera. So what do you think the over-under for games is in that series? 5. Yeah. Lakers might get one?
Yeah, they could get one. It just depends if Oklahoma City wants to give them one or not.
Sure, right. If they the Lakers will bring it with all their might in Game 3.
In Game 3, if the Lakers go up 10 in the third quarter and the Thunder pull some starters just to run their normal rotation instead of try to go pedal to the metal, then you could get one. But it's gonna be hard. I mean, Oklahoma City's just. I don't know how the Lakers are going to score 100 points right now. And if you're just only getting to 100, it's going to be hard to compete with a team that's at the level of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Certainly is. Nuanez Now May tonight, ESPN Radio. Brooks Nuanez joining us here on this Friday. Thanks for doing it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take a break, come back. Give you the latest and greatest from across the wide world of sports in the state of Montana. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here, ESPN Radio.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
What do you expect me to say to her? She's getting married in 30 minutes.
We're doing everything we can.
John, can you hear me? John.
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
Design Center at 2501 Brook Street, your jeweler for life.
Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
Welcome back, 109 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal has one bin recycling for you. They can pick it up at your house twice a month. Cans, cardboard, plastics. Want to add the service or make the switch or both? Call 406-541-7171. That's 406-541-7171. Grizzly Disposal, the only bears that should be in your garbage. Golf season is here, which is always my favorite time of year. I mean, I actually really enjoyed the seasonality of Montana. And when it comes to just professionally, I always love when football season rolls around, no question about it. But how can you not love summer in Montana? How can you not love golf season in Montana? Was out seeing our friends at Canyon River earlier today for this little check-in to see what's going on out there. First of all, they have a two-person scramble coming up, which is one of their big well, I mean, they have a lot of events out there, actually. But it's one of their most accessible tournaments because you can just sign up with another person. So if you'd like to find out more about that, visit CanyonRiverGolfClub.com. Also, if you haven't played out there recently, and when I say recently, I mean in the last 2 or 3 years, this is not just because they're our great friends and our great partners. I am such a dyed-in-the-wool journalist, I cannot tell you a lie when it comes to my opinion on something or my analysis of something. This place is the best public course in Montana. You got to go play it. The greens are absolutely glass. They're true. They run unbelievably fast. The approach shots are crazy because of the way that they've curated around the greens as well. They got it rolling like no other. Seriously, best public course in Montana. It's not even close. Go check out Canyon River Golf Club in East Missoula. We continue with our questions and inquiries from all of you fine listeners. If you have one, text us 406-888-1029. 888-1029. Text us what you want us to talk about. We did a bunch of giveaways surrounding these questions all throughout the week, so we're sort of just playing a little catch-up here. But the latest that Hayden has on the outline, the next wave of FCS schools to head to the FBS. Wow. What an interesting question. Because in terms of the schools that have the resources to be able to do that, first of all, an at least $5 million move-up fee, if not more, but also a conference invite, and a conference invite comes with way more than can you pay the fee. It also is going to come with where are you going? What's your media market? What's your projections? What's your revenue earning potential? How do you increase the revenue earning potential of the other teams that exist in your prospective conference? And all of a sudden, it gets pretty muddy. Because if you're going to say, okay, who are the best FCS programs, that is a completely and utterly different conversation than who are the conferences that are most ready, or who are the schools, that are most ready to move on and move up to the FBS. I think it's tried and true, and you're probably getting tired of me, or at least numb to me talking about it. Montana State, South Dakota State are the three. Those are the three premier FCS programs. There's no doubt about that in terms of all the factors that go into that. The ability to produce revenue, the ability to draw fans, the ability to have boosters, the ability to have NIL, tradition, prestige, recruiting footprint, coaching, all that stuff, that's it. UC Davis is probably the top of the next tier. Of course, Sac State is on its way on his way up and on his way out to the MAC. But those are the only Big Sky schools that are in that mix. Northern Arizona is an interesting one because of the way they fund their athletic department. NAU gets a larger state subsidy than almost anybody in the West. But will that continue if they moved up to the FBS, and also where would they go? That's the biggest question for the schools out west. Is I do think that if there was, if where you land doesn't matter, then I do think that Montana State, Sac State, well, obviously Sac State, UC Davis, Northern Arizona, it probably would be feasible for them to make a run at an FCS. But what would the detriment be? Like from a funding perspective and a support perspective, et cetera, UC Davis and Northern Arizona and the Montana schools could play in Conference USA. But why would you want to play in Conference USA if you are those schools? You'd rather play in the Big Sky. Like, the Big Sky is better football. There's way more prestige to it because you're competing for a real national championship. You have way better fan bases. It's way more regionally relevant. So that's what I'm getting at, is when you talk about the schools that are the next from the FCS to the FBS, 4 of at least the top 10, if not 4 of the top 4, are from the Big Sky. But where are you going to go? If you're not getting into the Mountain West, then where are you going to go? When you look at the CAA, I think all the schools that are ready to move on and move up already have. Like, if you're Rhode Island or Villanova or New Hampshire or William and Mary, I think you'd rather move quote unquote down like Richmond just did. You'd rather go out of the CAA, stop funding football at a true FCS level, move into the Northeastern Conference, move into a lesser conference where you don't have to spend as much money on football. You can spend more money on other things. But I think those schools, Rhode Island, Villanova, New Hampshire, William and Mary, Maine, I think that's where they're at, the CAA. And I think that's a fine FCS conference. It's a shell of what it once was when James Madison was in that league, et cetera. Richmond, too. But I don't think you're going to see any movement out of there. Ivy League, nope. Nobody's moving up there. The MEAC, nope. South Carolina State, Delaware State, North Carolina Central, nope. None of those schools are close. You already saw NDSU leave. I think South Dakota, North Dakota, South Dakota State, Illinois State, Youngstown State. I don't think any of those teams, again, where are you going to go? Unless you get a Mountain West invite, why would you leave the Missouri Valley? You're not going to get in the Big Ten. Why would you want to go to the MAC? If you're not getting a Mountain West, why wouldn't you just stay in the Missouri Valley where you can play for a real national championship and you can fortify and maintain your fan base? The Northeastern Conference? Nope. Central Connecticut, Duquesne, Mercyhurst, none of those teams are going anywhere. FCS is perfect level for them. The OVC Big South, the combined conference, Tennessee Tech, UT Martin, Gardner-Webb, Charleston Southern, nope, none of them are going anywhere. Patriot League, still private school. It's basically like the Ivy League Light. Lehigh, Lafayette, Holy Cross, Richmond, nope, none of them are going anywhere. Pioneer Football League still doesn't even have scholarships. So Drake, Presbyterian, San Diego, Dayton, St. Thomas, Butler, they're not going anywhere. The SoCon, man, maybe Mercer, but you already saw the SoCon have its mass exodus too. Georgia Southern, App State, then more recently Kennesaw State, Coastal Carolina. I think that's probably a wash as well. You say Mercer because of where they're located at, but are they really going to want to fund it at that level? I really don't think so. The Southland Conference, same deal. You already saw Sam Houston leave. You already saw Texas State and whatever, all those Texas schools that were once there that aren't there anymore, they're already out. I can't see Stephen F. Austin based on where they're located. Southeast Louisiana, Lamar. None of those are doing it. Incarnate Word is the one because it's a private school and they had some upward trajectory. They had a bad year last year, but they sort of got caught up against it. And then they went 3-5 in league, 3-9 overall. So that might have set them back a little bit. 3-5 in league, 5-7 overall. I was looking at the wrong line item there. But other than that, I don't see them. The Southwestern Conference, the SWAC, nope. They have their own bowl system, basically. Why would they want to go anywhere? Alabama State, Jackson State, Bethune-Cookman, Prairie View A&M, Texas Southern. They're not going anywhere. The UAC. Now, okay, here we go. Besides those four I named in the Big Sky, Montana State, Northern Arizona, UC Davis, I think that the UAC might be the one that has two programs that could make a run at it because they've already proven they can make the jump from D2 to D1 and be competitive. That's the teams that shared the UAC title last year. Tarleton State and Abilene Christian. They can fund it. They're in Texas. They have, the booster base. They have the recruiting base. I'm not saying they're going to go to the Big 12 or the SEC. Not even close. But if they somehow weaseled their way into Conference USA or the Sun Belt, that wouldn't be crazy. So for the person that asked, what's the next wave of FCS schools to head to the FBS? I don't think Montana State are going anywhere. I think they're going to stand pat until they see how everything else fractures and plays out. I think they're going to stay in the FCS and try to stack national championships if they can. I think NAU's probably in that same boat because would they still receive the same state subsidies and funding as they do currently if they were to move up, and also where they're going to go? The one outlier in the Big Sky is an affiliate member in UC Davis. They're in the Mountain West in everything but football. If they get to the Mountain West in football once they're ready, that will not surprise me. So I'm giving UC Davis my number one ranking. Then I'm saying nobody else from out west. And then I'm saying the other two maybe top contenders are Tarleton State and Abilene Christian because of where they're located, how they're funded, and their recruiting base. That's all to say that was a completely off-the-cuff deal with me just scanning through the conferences. I don't think anybody in the FCS is going anywhere anytime soon. Besides, maybe UC Davis when they're ready, and maybe those two Texas schools. Great question. Keep the questions coming in. 406-888-1029. That's 888-1029. Text us and let us know what you want us to talk about. Thanks to our great friends at Red's Bar. Red's Bar is an institution of Missoula. You need a place to watch the two NBA games tonight. No better NBA bar in Missoula than Red's. They have a phenomenal patronage, one of the friendliest staffs in town. Cheap cold beer. Check out Red's downtown in Missoula. I'm going down there next week to go get a whole new fleet of memorabilia. So excited about that. Red's Bar, an institution of Missoula, located on Ryman Street in the downtown Garden City. Hour one in the books. Hour two coming at you. Carol and She Doesn't Know Sports, plus Hudson Ludke, our first of many senior spotlights. That's next. Keep it right here. 129 ESPN Radio.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
Expect me to stay to her. She's getting married in 30 minutes.
We're doing everything we can.
John, can you hear me? John.
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
The Glacier Wolfpack will begin the defense of their Class AA state football championship without head coach Grady Bennett after an MHSA investigation results in the suspension of the longtime head coach. I'm Jeff Safford. Last season, Kalispell Glacier rolled to an undefeated season and the second state title in school history under Bennett's leadership. But the Wolfpack will not have Bennett on the sideline for the first two games of 2026. Following a formal protest from Big Fork High School, an MHSA executive board held a hearing in April. The board passed a motion to fine Glacier High in violation of a rule banning recruiting. As a result, Bennett will be suspended for 2 games. The Wolfpack are scheduled to open the season on August 28th at home against Billings West in a rematch of the 2025 Class AA state championship. Glacier won 16-3 to cap a 12-0 season, giving the program its first state championship since 2014. Bennett will miss that and a September 4th game at Bozeman as he begins his 20th season leading the Wolfpack. Glacier has made the playoffs 16 of the last 19 seasons and has played for the state title 6 times over the last 13 years. Since starting the program from scratch, Bennett has led Glacier to a 142-52 record.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club. It's Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
Thanks for rolling with us here on this Friday. We're up against it, so let's have some fun. Do you ever think you're going to be an award-winning writer?
Yes.
Here we are. E.B. Craney finalists out for another year, and several nominations around here, Missoula Broadcasting Company, including Carolyn, Chicken Doesn't Know Sports, for her copywriting prowess. A couple ads that were nominated, so great job.
And congrats to you for being nominated for Sportscaster of the Year.
Well, like I always tell the guys behind the glass, I don't ever actually get happy for being nominated. I would only just rage if we didn't get nominated.
Oh,
so
I see.
It's the standard that we've established around here.
The other exciting thing is our sister station, The Trail, is nominated for Station of the Year, which is a really big deal and well-deserved. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that.
Yep. All right. Well, Chicken Doesn't Know Sports here on Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio. What do you got this week?
Well, it wouldn't be a weekday without some gossip about Vrabel and Rossini. I mean, it is like these little little drops from heaven every day, getting these scoops.
Just never stops.
Never stops. So in this week's Vrabel Rossini sex scandal segment.
For those that maybe haven't followed this, I don't know how you haven't. But Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the New England Patriots, Diana Rossini, a former now reporter for The Athletic, an affair that now there's continued support that this has been going on pretty consistently for a long time.
Since 2020.
Yeah.
So in 2021, it has been discovered they rented a boat together for 3 hours while she was 7 months pregnant with her baby named Michael. Mm-hmm. Her poor husband. I mean, I can't. It's just the bombs keep.
I mean, at some point
hitting.
You have some self-respect, right?
Right.
Just gotta go.
Yes.
Or maybe you're into it. I don't know.
We've discussed this. I think, though, even if you're into it, you're being made a fool of at this point.
Sure.
I also feel for these children because they're going to grow up at some point, and this is going to be. I mean,
it's your mom.
What do you do when you find out your mom's a hoe?
What do you do when your friends find out that your mom does this kind of stuff? You're like, oh boy.
She was.
By the time they're at that age, though, AI might just run the world. So who knows?
I mean, it will, but they're still going to find out.
Sure.
So that's the only reason like I said last week, I do feel guilty. But I mean, the gossip is so good.
Yes.
Now, there's a couple podcasters, former NFL players. I'm not going to try and pronounce their names. They called Vrabel out for being sloppy and that he should cover his tracks better. And I feel like NFL players would know.
I mean, man.
But one of the things they did say was when he was are you finally getting my joke?
I mean, no, well, yes, but also, like, I don't know. There's a lot I could say, but I'm not going to say.
So there is a difference, though, when he was coaching for the Titans versus the Patriots, because this is not my knowledge, okay? Sure. This is from these NFL players that have a podcast. They said the Titans were not nearly as popular as the Patriots, so he wasn't as famous until this last year, basically. So that's probably why it finally was discovered, over 6 years.
I think that's maybe part of it. I still want to know the pictures that initially leaked this scandal of them in Sedona.
Yeah.
Those are not just like you were in Sedona and you just like saw these people. Those are private investigator pictures.
You think so?
You can tell they're not like cell phone, like the one of them kissing in the early on in this.
It's clearly a cell phone.
It's just somebody like, oh, there's Mike Vrabel. He played for the Patriots with Tom Brady, and they just clicked it. The other ones, these are like from a long lens, like zooming in
the forest
while they're on the deck and in the pool.
That's why I don't think.
So then who got tipped to do that, or is this one of their? It's got to be one of the husband or the wife that hired this person to follow.
I'm guessing a husband. Do you think he's going to do a DNA test on his child?
That's the rumor that's been going around Twitter, but there has been no actual confirmation of that.
Because he's been raising that child as his own. So, well, let's say it is Mike Vrabel's kid. Then what? I mean, you can't. That's your kid.
Yeah.
So this is so messed up.
I still want to know how it's going to actually affect everything. Rossini's already done. She's done.
She's
fired.
Vrabel will not be fired.
They're definitely not. I just wonder if he resigns.
No.
I want to believe that he's not going to.
He will not resign.
But it's just going to keep on hitting.
It's going to keep on hitting, and
like, how do you handle this with the Patriots? Because this is going to be the lead question of the press conference every week for forever.
I don't know. I mean, I guess they say no personal questions. And then, I mean, you said people
here's the thing. It is the Patriots, so they've already done this like multiple times
That's
over.
true.
Where they just ignore the scandal and, it's the Bill Belichick on to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Not answering that.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's totally crazy. Are you tired of it yet?
No.
Wow.
Bring it on. Keep it coming. I like having a Vrabel Rossini segment every week. It actually makes me feel alive. I'm just kidding.
Gives me something to live for.
It's just so crazy that it's like sports and my beloved Bravo came together, and it's just such great gossip. Again, I do feel guilty because there are some innocent, bystanders in this.
Sure.
But not guilty enough to stop talking about it. So.
As I continue to say, we are covering this not for the gossip element of it, but because of the journalism ethics element of it, and because of the direct effect it might have on the defending AFC champions. Because I do think that if this continues to manifest and brew and continues to be like a daily or weekly scandal, that's going to affect the status of the organization that is the New England Patriots. And that to me is the story now. Like we already discussed in sort of the cut and dry element of the journalism ethics part of this. But now it's like, if this starts to impact directly the Patriots on the field when the football season rolls around, now this really becomes a story.
Well, speak for yourself. I'm covering it for the gossip.
I know you are. Chicken Doesn't Know Sports here on ESPN Radio 102.9 FM, as well as SWX Montana Television and the ESPN MT app. Carolyn joining us in studio. All right, what else you got this week?
So Stephon Diggs, he was on.
What a great guy.
So what's the deal? Why does everyone hate him?
Oh man, well, because he's had like a million different girlfriends, million different kids. He's just a very sort of malcontent, untrustworthy type of guy.
Okay. I mean, I've seen his name over and over. I know people don't like him. He was recently on trial. His chef accused him of physically assaulting her. Now, she claims that they were also had a relationship before she moved in and was his chef. He apparently keeps all of basically everyone around him is on his payroll in some way. So just something interesting. Now, she accused him of him choking her and assaulting her. When they went to trial, she was a horrible witness, I guess. I will say he was found not guilty. He was acquitted. He was found not guilty of these crimes. There's video of her in the days that followed this assault dancing around her kitchen, having a good old time. I don't know how one reacts after a situation like that. I'm not here to judge. The judge did that. But apparently she exhibited signs that maybe that didn't happen. And then a week before the trial started, allegedly her attorney demanded $5.5 million from Diggs.
Man. $5.5 million. Sounds like extortion to me.
So they wasted time. It sounds like it was untrue. I don't really know. The story is so crazy. But it seems like people aren't that excited that he was found not guilty. Like, he is very disliked.
I mean, he's burned the bridges at a lot of different places that he's played. It's been hard for it's been hard for various different coaches and teams to try to sort of reel him in. He had the whole deal at the Super Bowl with Cardi B, where it's like baby mama's over here and Cardi B's over here.
Right.
And she dumped him and canceled the party and all that stuff.
Now, did she have a baby with him too?
I believe that's right.
And then he had multiple baby mamas. One he invited to the Super Bowl. Now, who did he play for again?
The Patriots.
The Patriots? Okay. And he is no longer plays for the Patriots because allegedly he's a free agent right now.
Correct.
Okay. So do you think anyone will pick him up?
Well, yeah, because he can still play. But that's the thing that's, like the red flag here is that how are you, like a 1,000-yard receiver, one of the best players, one of the better players at your position, at least in the NFL, and Minnesota let you walk, Buffalo let you walk, Houston let you walk, New England lets you walk. It's kind of like when Dwight Howard's at the peak of his powers. Like, if you're getting traded every year or like shown the door, there's something up with you.
Was he like this as a college player?
I actually have no recollection of him in college, which is interesting.
Okay.
But I mean, there's like the infamous video in Minnesota where like the reporter was trying to do a fun story and he asked all the Vikings guys like which teammate would you least like to date your sister, and every single one of them was like Diggs, Stephon Diggs, Diggs.
Yeah, you don't want to be known as that person.
So I think he's just a dirty dude. I don't know.
Well, he was back on the treadmill yesterday, showing that he's ready to work. So, I mean, if he did not assault someone, I don't want someone getting in trouble for something they didn't do. So, there's that.
Well, and if you are not like incarcerated or there's not like a specific like crazy controversy attached to your name. If you are better than other people that exist in the world at the position you play, you're just going to get another shot. So he's going to get another shot.
Right. This is why the whole Vrabel thing, when you say, is he going to get fired or resign?
He's not going to get fired.
But like you said, the NFL has just, all they do is perpetuate bad behavior.
I just want to know if Vrabel breaks. Like, at what point is he just tired of this?
Yeah.
And hearing about it? And
I mean, he's probably got enough. Well, yeah, and he's probably got enough money to not.
Got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, okay. That's that.
No, is that what's at ESPN Radio? Chicken doesn't know sports. All right, what else you got this week?
All right, so World Cup is coming to America. FIFA claims they sold 5 million tickets to the World Cup.
Okay.
But the hotels in all the different markets are very undersold. So there's two theories to this. One is these second market brokers who come in and buy all the tickets and then resell them have bought so many tickets that it's not actually it's not really sold. They haven't really sold. Yes, they've sold 5 million, but that doesn't mean that many people have tickets in their hands because there's hotels that are like, we're not booked at all for the World Cup.
And this is going around in multiple cities, right?
It's going around multiple cities. Now, Miami and Atlanta have stronger bookings, like Kansas City doesn't. And honestly, if I were to go to World Cup, I would go to like a city like Kansas City or somewhere small that it's not so crazy.
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like you'd maybe have a better time. Maybe that's me because I hate people.
I wonder if there's like a lot of tickets sold because it's fans buying it ahead of time, and then if their country doesn't make it, then they'll like sell them. Or maybe they're trying to sell them on the second market.
Well, I think that's what it is. They're saying it's a lot of these. If you weren't typing when I was talking, you would have heard me.
Well, sure, they buy them up and then sell them for.
They buy them, and yeah. But even the secondary market ticket sales aren't going as well. They're down, and the ticket prices are going down. Which I am glad because I'm sorry, I'm so sick of these second market ticket brokers ruining it for everybody. It's getting really annoying. And why is it legal?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that seems like should be pretty simple to regulate, but it's not.
Yeah, because there's actual websites that are clearly secondhand.
Totally.
So. The other thing is that people may have bought tickets but can't afford to travel because things are so crazy, and then now we've got hantavirus swooping in. So I don't know. According to TikTok, we do.
Okay.
But it's just interesting. I just wonder what will happen with these tickets. And then did you hear about what happened in New York? So they play. The World Cup is playing is at a Yankee Stadium, and
probably.
So basically, New York City has said if you're not, basically don't work the days of the World Cup. The train from the city to Yankee Stadium is $100 each way.
Jeez.
So normally, if you take the train, you're taking the train home, you're commuting, it's what, like $12 or something?
Sure.
So now these people who normally commute can't even take the train to commute because there's going to be so many people taking the trains to the World Cup.
Man. I want to know, like, what percentage of the people are from not America?
A lot, I think.
It's so wild to me, like, how, like, backward facing America is to soccer.
I know, isn't that weird?
Like there's no there's next, like, imagine if the Olympics was in America this summer.
Yeah, there
would be 100 times the buzz that this is, and maybe I just live in a world that it just isn't as much. But I feel like there's not nearly the hype that there should be.
It's never been. I think it's getting more.
Yeah,
and I remember when the World Cup was in America in '94, and it was a pretty big deal.
Sure.
Because it was in Chicago, and that that was a really cool thing. Mm-hmm. But I do remember it being what I really remember is that the U.S. men's team just wasn't very good.
Correct.
Yeah,
I think that's still the case.
Yeah, I think, but I feel like in Missoula, soccer is such a big deal.
No, totally. And I think and Missoula is not alone. I mean, I think there's a lot of communities that are like that.
And I think, like when I was in college, there wasn't, at least at NAU, there was not a soccer team. Mm-hmm. There were club teams, but there weren't, soccer teams, and now there are. So that's good.
Yeah, I've always thought that the thing that maybe has Americans having an aversion to soccer is just because we're not elite at it. in men's soccer. Like because the United States women's team is very popular.
I know.
And that's because they've won the World Cup multiple times.
True. But why women over men? I mean, besides...
Well, because I think in women's sports, I think our best athletes play 3 sports. Tennis maybe a little bit too, but soccer, track, and basketball. In American men's sports, almost all the best athletes play football.
Yeah. And basketball.
And basketball. And baseball. And, like, there's all these, like, our best, if you were to rank the 100 best American athletes, like, only a couple of them are going to be soccer players. They're all playing the NBA or the NFL.
That's true.
But if you had those guys, I've always thought this, if you had those guys play soccer instead, like, what would our soccer team look like?
I can't even imagine, like, those big men.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine some of these guys, if they would have played, especially like not the oversized guys. The NBA is a little bit different because of how just massive that they are, but like imagine if some of the guys that play like defensive back in the NFL just would have played soccer instead. Like Sauce Gardner. Like that guy would be just like a crazy soccer player. He just happened to play football his whole life because he grew up in the South and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've thought that a lot.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this means there'll be some great deals for tickets, though, for people.
Maybe. Where's the closest to us? Isn't there in Seattle? Isn't there or something?
Maybe.
I think so. I think Nashville, Seattle.
Denver, maybe?
Denver, maybe. Let's see. Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, and Vancouver are all hosting for sure. 16 host cities. Okay, so there's 2 in Canada, 3 in Mexico, 11 in the United States. So here's your list. Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Guadalajara for Mexico, Houston, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Mexico City, Miami, Monterrey, New York, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Seattle, Toronto, and Vancouver.
All right. Which one are you going to?
Wow, they're playing 8 of these on... Man, the soccer community is going to freak out over this. They're playing 8 of these on artificial turf. Soccer people don't like that. They like grass.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, did you know that... I thought of Andrew when I heard this next story. This involves the World Cup, and I don't know if Andrew tunes in. I hope he does. If not, I'll text him.
Yep.
Fox Sports and Indeed are hiring a chief World Cup watcher for $50,000.
Jeez.
You get paid $50,000. You have to watch all 100. Oh, how many games? 104 games, I think.
Maybe
39 days.
39 days of games.
Of games. You have to watch every single one. However, there's a caveat.
Okay.
You have to watch it in a glassed-in office in Times Square, and you have to create content around all the games. 39 days of work, $50,000.
Man.
You can apply on Indeed, and you need to apply by June 6th.
Yeah, get on it.
So, honestly, if this was Bravo Real Housewives, I would be the chief Housewives watcher, and I would do it for free.
For free. All you got to do is sit in a glass room.
I would do it.
Man.
And give my opinions.
So they feed you, or like how does that work?
I mean, I'm sure you can DoorDash to your glass office in Times Square.
You can't leave. You're locked in
I know, because where do you go to the bathroom?
Days. Right.
Yeah.
What do you eat? What do you drink? Do you get to go out? What's going on?
I imagine you get a couple breaks. I would hope they have some sort of security around you, because New York isn't always the safest place.
Indeed.
Also, like, do they put you up in a hotel? Because, like, where do you sleep? Lots of questions. We'll have Andrew apply. And I just thought that would be perfect for him. He'd love that job.
He would. We miss you, Andrew Houghton. I hope you're doing all right.
Yeah.
Nuanez Now tonight, ESPN Radio. Check it out, No Sports. All right, did you hear that your best guy, he's coming back again? Sources say it's the lead headline on ESPN.com.
Tom Brady?
Aaron Rodgers. Likely to play for the Steelers in 2026.
How old is he?
Too old. Yeah, he's not as good as the other guys that have made it last this long.
Give up.
43.
Yeah, dude. Give up.
$13.6 million.
He just doesn't want to be around his invisible wife.
Did you see the parody stuff from the Met Gala? Oh my God. I don't think we even talk about it on the show.
No, just Google it.
Yeah, well, this is Aaron Rodgers, expected to visit with the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend and is likely to play for them this season, according to Ian Rappaport of ESPN.com.
Okay.
Wild.
Do the Grizz play on turf or grass?
Turf.
So listen to this, what Boise State is doing. They're replacing their blue turf.
Are they going to still have to be blue?
It's still going to be blue.
Okay.
But they're replacing it this year. And instead of just throwing it in a dumpster or a landfill.
Sure.
They're selling swatches of it.
Oh, yeah.
So someone spent $25,000 on 400 square feet of turf to put in their house. Another person spent $4,000 on the 40-yard line, like a 6x9 or something like that.
Sure.
And then they're selling 4 inches of turf for $40. So if they sold the whole field, they would make over $20 million that would go back into the NIL. Do you think the Grizz could do that?
Interesting. Well, so I will not name the people that were saying this, but when I was in Bozeman for the Cats spring game a couple weeks ago, Montana State Stadium on the, I guess it would be the northeastern corner, or like the northeastern part of the sideline, there's the 3 national championship years.
Oh, okay.
1956, 1976, 1984. Obviously, they just won last year. So there was a question that was thrown out in the press box. Again, I'm not going to name names of who said this.
So Diana Rossini.
But someone asked, "Oh, when are you going to put 2025 national championship there?" And they said, "We're actually going to wait for another year because we're going to go back to back."
Oh, wow.
So basically said, we're going to just put that on hold.
Okay.
Because then we'll just have to replace it once instead of twice. We'll just put both 25 and 26. I was like, wow, no pressure on the kids.
Dang.
But good confidence, I guess. So then your question is, like, the Grizz turf, I think people would buy for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know for how much. I don't think they can make $20 million off of it.
How much would it cost to just replace the turf?
Oh, millions.
Yeah. So they're really, I mean, I don't know if they're netting $20 million or whatever.
Yeah, it costs a couple million for sure. Trying to think of like what's the parts of the turf that, I mean, the middle part would go for a ton with the big Grizz, like the big Grizz logo in the very center of the field. That piece would go for a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I bring up the Bobcats because those pieces that have the national championships on them, those would go for a lot too.
Their turf too?
Yeah, everybody's turf.
Oh yes, I remember when I walked on it.
UC Davis and Northern Colorado are the last 2 natural grass fields in the conference.
Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting thing to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
interesting way to make money. So they're going to donate it back to the NIL.
Yeah, they're donating it back to the NIL.
Man.
So
the NIL thing, I keep on dwelling on this one specific point about the NIL. It's turned into this arms race, and I think that almost all college fan bases have leaned into, like, this is the reality of the world, so we got to donate to this to pay money. Mm-hmm. I don't think that hardly anybody is actually closing the gap, because the richest schools are still the richest schools. So, like, even if Montana has 100 times as much NIL money as they did 3 years ago, Oregon has 1,000 times more than they did 3 years ago. So, like, what? When does it end? Is I guess the question. Like, if the Grizz can pay guys 10 times more than they used to be able to pay them, and the Cats can too.
Is it ever gonna?
The big schools are still gonna be able to offer them that exponentially that much more money.
It would be cool, which I know you're gonna laugh at me, but if they took like half of this money and donated it to like their school of music or arts.
I'm not gonna laugh at that at all.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't all have to be.
I think about this all the time. I understand the fervor behind college sports. I also think it's absolutely sort of ridiculous that we spend tens of millions of dollars on college sports when we could donate that to so many different things.
Oh, yeah, or donate it back to their community.
We donated public education. Yeah. We could donate it to the classrooms. Like, man.
Could you imagine the good PR that would be? I mean, besides the fact that it's good.
Yes.
But, like, that is good PR. That is good will. And, yeah.
Instead, we need training tables and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah. So that's that. One other thing. Got my ad here for Freedom Solutions.
Got it on the iPad even.
I did. I got to get the large print. What if you could cool your home with the power of the sun? Introducing solar-powered mini splits from Freedom Solutions. EG4 12K and 24K hybrid systems deliver powerful air conditioning and heating in one unit. And they run directly off solar. Visit gofreedomsolutions.com to learn more.
Very good. Appreciate you, Carolyn. Also, thanks to our friends at Hot House as well. Hot House Yoga, downtown Missoula. Great place to unwind. Great place to get your sweat on. You went this morning, right?
I sure did.
Yeah,
it was great. It was awesome. I forgot my watch, so it's like the workout didn't happen because I didn't get to log it. So I'm pretty annoyed at that. But you know what? I went, and I know in my heart I was there.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Just imagine you worked out for decades before you ever had.
I thought about that, and then I was thinking about my husband doesn't wear one, and he does not understand how frustrated I was. I'm like, you don't get it. I need to close these rings. Quick PSA.
Yes.
Sunday is Mother's Day.
Indeed.
And all of you men and women, take care of the mothers in your life, whether it's your mom or your wives. I don't want to hear that any mom went without acknowledgement this weekend. Okay?
It's easy.
Capiche?
Here's what you do. You go to the farmer's market on Saturday.
Yes.
There's just a million things you can get her. There's flowers. There's pastries. There's all sorts of crafts and goods. And purses and wallets and everything. It's easy.
Yeah.
Just go to the farmer's
and you
market.
shop local.
That's right.
I mean, what are we doing here? We're saving Missoula is what we're doing.
Indeed we are.
So happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there, including myself. And I get the best Mother's Day gift this weekend.
What's that?
My college boy is coming home on Saturday.
Very good.
So...
Well, thank you so much for swinging by. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Carol Chigo's Little Sports here on 102.9 ESPN Radio. Take a break. Come back. See you on the other side. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. ESPN MT.
What do you expect me to say to her? She's getting married in 30 minutes.
We're doing everything we can.
John, can you hear me? John?
At Shields, we're anglers, endlessly seeking and refining techniques. We're hunters and storytellers, because we've been out there. We're experts that put products and gear to the test, so we can share that knowledge with you. At Shields, we understand your outdoor journey and the path you're on, because we walk it too, every step of the way. Shields, right there with you.
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
The rare moments in life, they're not just few and far between. They're meant to be treasured.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
Visit CanyonRiverGolfClub.com today to book your tee time.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
Welcome back. 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Colter Nuanez coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio here at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned, the only Bears that should be in your garbage. Hudson Lutke is a young man who prepped at Butte High School. He's taking his talents to Casper Community College, which I actually love. I think the guy is at least right now, borderline Division I athlete in both football and basketball. I loved him as a basketball player. Now he's going to try to go parlay that, see how much he can improve in the next year or two, and see if he can get to the highest level. That, plus the fact he's the leading scorer in the history of Butte High basketball and was a multiple-time All-State selection on the football field, makes him our debut for our Senior Spotlight. Our Senior Spotlight presented by Dazzler's Car Wash of Missoula. Treat your car like it deserves to be treated at Dazzler's. Senior Spotlight, one of our favorite segments that we do each spring and summer here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. And our debut for this year, we go to the Mining City, check in with Butte High, both football and basketball. Hudson Lutke, our guest. You've heard his name on this show many times. You've heard his dad on this show many times. But now Hudson gets to tell his story a little bit here, too. Hudson, thanks for being here, man. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me, Colter.
Of course, man. Good to talk to you. Excited to sort of dive into this. So let's start here with the here and now. You were a great player at Butte High School, both football and basketball. And I know you were sort of weighing your decisions across the board, but you made a decision pretty recently. So tell people about it. I know you're headed to Wyoming. I think it's a cool deal. So tell people about sort of your future here headed to Casper College.
Yeah, going down to Casper College in Wyoming. I'm super excited about it. It's a JUCO, so be there 2, maybe 1 year. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it and kind of use that as a stepping stone to hopefully get to a good 4-year program eventually. But just try to live in the moment and take it one day at a time.
Well, not a lot of guys go the junior college route, but I've always thought it should be a route that maybe Montana guys try, because sometimes get overlooked in Montana. It's a little bit harder to get recruited, but then you go make a name for yourself at a junior college. I think that could be an awesome stepping stone, like you said. So, is that something you thought about, and what do you like to sort of about the opportunity that a 2-year provides you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the opportunity to just go in there and develop, get bigger, get more mature, and then obviously sharpen my skills. But, yeah, I agree with you on more guys should take that route, especially being from Montana. I think recruitment's hard, definitely on the boys basketball side of things and baseball too and several other sports. But, yeah, that was definitely something that factored in going to a 2-year. Because, I mean, I had opportunities to go to 4 years, but after weighing decisions and sitting down with my parents, we decided that'd be the best.
That league is really competitive, too. You're going to see some really great players in that league for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about the coaching staff and stuff, though. What were some of the selling points for them, and what other things did you like just about the program?
Yeah, so Coach Ty Larson, it'll be his first head coaching job. He was at Arizona State previously. And, I got connected to him through Brian Marceau, who I played AAU for last summer. And within probably 4 or 5 days of him getting the job, he was calling me, texting me, and then he actually drove, I think it was like 8 hours up to Butte to have lunch with me and my mom for about 45 minutes. And that kind of set it over the edge for me. I was like, no other coach is really going to the extent that this guy is. And so everything that he has to say I love, and I'm really excited to get down there.
Well, I know you had some chances for football as well. So is basketball your first love, or which one do you like better?
Honestly, football is probably my first love. As a little kid, I love football. I love the Seahawks, Legion of Boom, Marshawn Lynch. And so I always thought I was going to be a football player. And then when Dad moved to Butte and we started getting after it hard in the gym, I really fell in love with it there. And it was a tough decision to make, but I think I went with my gut there, and it was always going to be basketball.
Yeah, for sure. Hudson Lutke joining us here on the Senior Spotlight. Senior Spotlight probably presented in part by Dazzler's Car Wash. Dazzler's Car Wash. Treat your car like it deserves to be treated with Dazzler's. We'll have a chance to win some gift cards later on here throughout this segment, but appreciate Dazzler's for being on board for another summer here. So You mentioned your dad, Matt Ledke. He was a great player himself back in his day, has been the head coach there at Butte High for the last handful of years. So take me through just the influence he's had on you, because I know you guys are putting a lot of work together during the season, off season, all that stuff. So how much has he just impacted your athletic career?
Oh, a ton. And I mean, even thinking back to when I could first form a thought, like we were playing one-on-one on the mini hoop in the living room, and his big thing was he never let me beat him in anything. And I think that really put a competitive edge in me. And I remember it clearly. The first time I beat him was 7th grade in one-on-one, and we played up until I was probably in 9th grade. And then just the experience that he has had as a player especially, but as a coach as well, has helped me so much, and I'm so lucky to have that, and getting to play for him the past 4 years is something I will always hold close to me for sure.
Well, you've gotten a chance to play with him in these 3-on-3s a couple times too, right?
Yeah.
So what's that experience been like?
It was pretty crazy actually, playing with him and JR at Hoop Fest, but it's fun. I mean, we've always played on the same team in open gym and stuff growing up, so I mean, but it was a little different because they were doing the documentary and everything on JR, so having the cameras there and doing all that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, no doubt. And more on the documentary coming up soon, because we actually have some next steps coming up. So we'll let you know about that. But, I mean, get a chance to – I mean, you probably have heard about your dad from back in the day, but it's probably harder to believe when you're just a kid, right? But now you've gotten older. Do you like know like how good he was once upon a time?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember when I was pretty young, he was still playing in the – Wayne Estes in the men's tournaments and stuff, and me and my older sister Maddie would go watch him, and I just remember how high he could jump and him dunking the ball. And then, I mean, I knew from people telling me and everything, and I mean, he would tell me too, of course. But then, a few years ago, actually, he came across I think it was his tape from, I want to say it was Western, and then his high school highlight tape. So we put that thing in the DVD player, and I watched it, and that's when I was like, oh, okay, he could go.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, man. Well, you guys have some similarities to your game for sure.
Yeah.
What about playing with JR? I mean, JR is like a street ball legend in Montana, my God, so that must have been kind of cool for you too.
Yeah, that was awesome, and I've been lucky enough to get the opportunity to go work out with JR up in Ronan. He's just at the Job Corps, which is 5 minutes down the road from my grandparents' place. But yeah, JR's a great human being, and he's a great basketball player too. I feel like I've taken a lot from his game and my dad's and tried to kind of get a combination of the both. I mean, JR is a dude you can play with. He'll get you any shot you want on the floor. And I think that's why him and my dad always meshed so well, because my dad wanted to shoot that thing, and JR is willing to pass it. But, yeah, it was awesome. And, I mean, hopefully, I know they're getting up there in age, but hopefully we'll get to run that back a few more times.
Yeah, man. I mean, JR's like ageless, man. He still looks the same as when we used to play 3-on-3s 20 years ago. It's crazy, man. Well, Hudson Lake, you joining us here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Tell us about football then. What are some of your favorite memories from the football field?
Just anything in Naranche, man. I mean, that place is special, the history behind it, and then just the fans of Butte. That's what I've been most fortunate for these past 4 years, and even going back longer. Like, just the support that you get from there, being an athlete in Butte, and then, I mean, having the success that I had, that made it even more so. So really just Friday nights at Naranche, practicing out there, like that place is hard to beat.
Well, it's definitely one of the coolest venues in all of high school sports, or just sports period, in the state of Montana, no doubt. Well, how about Coach Gray? Eric Gray's been a great coach there at Butte High for a long time. So what sort of influences do you think he had on you throughout this journey?
Yeah, I think he's had a ton, and I mean, especially when you want to talk about leadership, that guy he's a hell of a leader, and just what he does to instill that into his players. Like, we had our leadership group, and I was lucky to be a part of that for 3 years. Sophomore, junior, senior, we'd meet every Tuesday morning, watch videos, talk about things, read books. So I think that, for sure, he's helped me in the most, just from a leadership standpoint. But getting to play for him and seeing the way he approaches the game, approaches his everyday life, it has been a great impact on me.
Do you think it's going to be hard to not play football anymore?
Definitely. I mean, it already has been. Like, I'll go out in the front yard and throw the ball around with my brothers and be like, damn, I mean, I'm going to miss this. But luckily, I got the Shrine game coming up, so I'll get one last go at it. But, yeah, I'll definitely miss it.
Where is the Shrine game this year?
It's in Butte at Nuanez.
Beautiful. So you get to go to suit up one last time. That's awesome.
Nuanez, yeah, it worked out perfect.
Yeah, that's super cool. Well, how about just coming of age there in Butte and getting to have your high school experience be there? I mean, that's a place with a ton of history, and you yourself made a ton of history. I mean, you're going to go down as the leading scorer in Butte High basketball ever. So, I mean, what's that mean to you to know that you made such an impact at such a place that has so much, history and so many great athletes that have come from there?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's a great honor, and that's obviously something I'll remember forever. And, being a younger kid, you always hear these old timers talk about Butte tough and Butte pride and Butte versus everyone. And I didn't quite understand that till I got to high school. And the football has a super cool tradition, the Silver Bees. And so we would do the Silver Bees banquet, and you'd hear these guys get up there and talk, and, you get almost like choked up in your chest, just feeling the amount of pride that has. And so to go out and be able to represent those colors and those letters across my chest, like that was huge. It was awesome.
Well, it's sort of cool that you get to claim roots in Butte and in Western Montana, Ronan, that whole area.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Which one do is Butte like your hometown? Is that what you consider your hometown?
Oh yeah. Butte. I'm a Butte kid for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I mean, what did it teach you just growing up there and coming of age there? How much do you think that just the way that the sort of attitude that exists in Butte, how much do you think that has influenced you?
I think a huge amount. Going back talking about the Butte tough, like as a kid, like that was something my parents always put in me. Like you never miss anything unless you can't walk. Or you can't breathe or something. And so, like, looking back at my high school career, I never missed a game. I think I missed one practice of football and one practice of basketball. And, I mean, just having that availability to be able to play in all those games and go 100%, I think that really goes back to my roots, being a kid here, grandparents from here, mom from here. So that's been a big part of it for sure.
Well, it's definitely a super cool place to claim that you're from, no doubt about it. Hudson Lanky joining us here. Part of our Cedar Spotlight. It's proudly presented by McElmurray Homes. McElmurray Homes, custom home builders across Western Montana and fierce supporters of high school athletics across the Treasure State. What's most exciting about this next chapter for you? I mean, what do you think just about moving away from home and sort of spreading your wings, going out on your own?
Yeah, probably just that part of it. I've always been excited for that, and now that it's coming up so fast, I mean, I'm a little nervous, a little scared, but no, I'm excited to go out there, see what's out there, and just keep grinding and see where that orange ball can take me, because it'll take me as far as I let it, and I'm ready to work. So I'm excited for that mostly.
When you first made the choice and you got a chance to sign and all that, I mean, cool moment for you. So, I mean, what are some of your just feelings around that? What did it mean to you to know where you're going next year?
Yeah, I mean, mostly it was just like a huge weight off my shoulders because, I mean, I'd been thinking about that for the last however many years where I'm going to be after Butte High and what's going to be next. So that was a huge relief. And then kind of after that settled in, just the excitement. And just the excitement of talking to my new teammates, talking to coach, getting ready to go down there, going and seeing the campus and everything. So, yeah, just excited, eager to get down there.
Well, it's a cool opportunity, and it's been really fun following your high school career so far. We'll certainly follow along as you begin the next chapter. But we appreciate you for making some time today, man. Good talking.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Coulter.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
Access to Montana's great backyard is the best part of being a Grizzly. At the University of Montana, our classrooms are the mountain peaks, river valleys, and never-ending plains of the Big Sky Country. We provide students with the hands-on training to protect and enjoy hunting, conservation, and stewardship. UM launches the careers of outdoor leaders so that they can protect our traditions and ensure they are passed down for future generations. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
Why would any business let you use their product and give you 365 days of reassurance? Mattress Firm does because they believe in their mattresses. Save on top brands like Nectar, Tempur-Pedic, Beautyrest, Serta, Stearns & Foster, and others. Mattress Firm carries $149 mattresses all the way up to the luxury Purple Rejuvenate Premier. 0% in payments as low as $39 a month, along with 365 days of reassurance. See why Mattress Firm is Montana's best place to find the sleep you deserve.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy.